we're factoring anything, every time is always to check for a GCF, greatest common factor. 7K plus 28. What is the greatest common factor? 7. So all we're doing is undistributing. We're going backwards. If I had a 7K and I took a 7 out, what do I got left?
Okay.
If I had a 28 and I factored 7 out, what do I have left?
4.
Okay.
That's it. You factored. Congratulations.
Oh, this is easy.
Yep.
I have these notes. That we did in the lecture.
Yep. Okay, all right. What if we added here 32M plus 24? Still sticking with the binomial. 32M plus 24. Do we have a GCF?
4.
Greatest 20.
Okay, 4 is a factor. Is there a bigger one?
8.
8 is it. Hayden, very good. So I'm going to factor an 8 out. 32 divided by 8 is 4. We still have an M. 24 divided by 8 is 3. Now I want to show you though what Kaylee said, because we're going to run into this every now and then down the road. If I hadn't been able to find that 8 that Hayden gave me, okay, if I had just taken a 4 out, 32 divided by 4 is 8. 24 divided by 4 is 6. Now I would need to realize 8 and 6 still have something in common. So I'm going to take another 2 out, right? There's already a 4 out there. So there's already a 4, and I'm taking another 2. What's 4 times 2? 8. And then 8 divided by 2, and 6 divided by 2. So you get the same answer. Just would have had one more step to go if you hadn't taken the biggest one out first, which is why I take the GC, the greatest. All right? Good? Zane? Good?
Good.
Good in the hood? What if we saw this? 8A minus 9. Total factor. What are we thinking?
A 1.
And 1 is the only thing. Good. When I if I take a 1 out, does that change the binomial? No, because divided by 1, 7 divided by 1 is still 7, right? So do I have to show the 1 out there? No. When you factor, when the only thing that's a 1, when the only factor is 1, it doesn't change it, so it can't really factor. So I'm just going to write can't factor. Okay? Okay, what about 5z plus 5? And there's a reason I chose this one. What about 5z plus 5? What's the GCF? There is one. 5. What's left on the inside on this piece? Z. What about here?
1.
Very good. This morning, they didn't want to put the 1. When it's a part of the binomial or trinomial or whatever, 5 divided by 5 is 1. So like Kelly said, we got to put that 1 there. Here we didn't have to pull a 1 out because multiplying doesn't change it. But adding, it does change it. If you had another $1 to add on there, that gives you more money. It does change it. Okay? Alright. Going to add just some trinomial on this one. I got 100m to the 5th minus 50m to the 4th plus 25m cubed. Okay, I want you to try that one. See if you can factor the GCF out. It's bigger than the ones we just did, but I think you can do it. I want you to try it and see. all except for the very last part. Just 25m cubed out, so what's left in the last part? Something bigger than 5.
Bigger than 5?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, it's not 10. Is it?
Nope, it's going to 25.
And then 15. Coach Wright, I have my brains working. Working people, it's just going to take a minute. Just to start up.
Thank you, Zane.
What's bigger than 25? 25?
Alright. Coefficient wise, number wise. 25? Mason got it figured out there just a second ago. Now, variables gave first period a little bit of a roadblock on this. They've all got an M
cubed.
so we know it's going to be have an M in it. And Chase is right, it is M cubed. How you decide the easy way to, when you know what power to use, it's the smallest of all the powers. Okay, so they've all got an M, fifth, fourth, cube, so it's got to be cubed. Because you can't take a fifth out if there's something smaller than that. So it's the smallest power that'll be your GCF. Alright, we laughed, I actually didn't initiate it, their huddle did. They laughed at one of their kids sitting at Aaron's table that got the calculator to do 100 divided by 25. So we had to go back and have a counting quarters lesson. How many quarters are in a dollar? So
7.
maybe we need to do it in here too. What is 100 divided by 25? 4. Now what do we do with our powers on this division? It wasn't M to the fifth, and we took out an M third. Very good. Subtract. Got a minus sign. 50 divided by 25 is 2. It wasn't M to the fourth, and we took an M cubed out, so we got a M. Very good. What is 25M cubed divided by 25M cubed? 1. 1. 1 or 1. Something like that. Okay. Everybody all right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to add a second variable now. I got 5m to the fourth x cubed plus 15m to the fifth x to the sixth minus 20m to the fourth x to the sixth. Okay, try that one. Go. All right.
Is that x to the sixth?
Yeah. Both of them were on the last two.
Is that another? Oh my gosh! Above the X, is that a B?
No, those are both 6s on the last two. My bad.
This house was all my What boy? Still do 5, right?
number GCF, our coefficient?
5
5.
M 4 X 3
5m to the 4th x cubed is what Mason said my entire GCF is. Y'all agree?
Yep.
Okay. So what do I have when I took it out here?
1.
1. Very good. What do I have in the second piece?
3 m x to the 3rd.
No. Kaylee had the x right. Subtract.
3.
So it'll be 3m x cubed.
My
Good.
bad.
It's okay. What do I have on my last term? Oh, where did the m go?
Yeah.
Very good. We took a whole m to the 4th out. So that last piece doesn't have an m anymore.
Yeah.
Now, when we did this morning, that's the way I wrote mine. And I circled that and thought it felt pretty good about it. But then somebody sitting over here where Michael sits wrote it like this and told me their answer was better. I think they may be right. I think it may be better. They're both correct.
I put the 4 at the beginning.
It just looks pretty.
You did what?
It's
The negative 4x cubed.
You put that one first, okay?
Yeah, so that way once you do it, it'll come out that backwards. It'll be all nice and neat.
Okay, good. So what Chase and Baylor are talking about is they wrote theirs even a different way. They switched these two. Okay. What the girl that was arguing with me on this said this was in standard form based on the m's. And it is. M to the 1st and none. The x's are equal, so you could flip those and that would look good too. So I don't know how the choice would be if it were an ACT question. I don't know. I don't know if they would put it in standard form or if they would just keep them in the order you took them out.
I always thought that the higher the number, the higher the exponent.
Farther left? Yep. In standard form, yes it does. So you're right. So I don't think you could go wrong with rewriting that in standard form. Okie dokie. Alright. What if I had a plus 2 times a minus 3 plus a plus 2 times a plus 6. Okay, getting in, leading up to, taking some baby steps up to factoring by grouping. And you know how to factor by grouping. We did it in Algebra 2 and you did it in Algebra 1. This is getting us ready for that. So what we're looking at here, we're still looking for a greatest common factor. Okay, and I'm looking at this as a giant left side of the addition sign and a giant right side of the addition sign. So what is there in common on both sides of that addition sign?
A.
There's a whole binomial in common.
Oh,
A
A
plus 2.
6. Okay, they both have an a plus 2, right? So I can take greatest common factor of a plus 2 out. When I do, that leaves me with a minus 3 plus a plus 6. Now that just looks screwy, right? But this is an addition sign, so I'm pretty sure I can combine some like terms. Yeah? So still have that GCF of a plus 2. Now I've got,
A squared.
no, you're adding them.
Adding them, so it'd be
2a, there you go, and 3. That's the kind of problem that's easy, but sometimes it confuses us. We're not real sure all the time how to start that. All right, before we get completely into grouping, I need to do one more little side problem with you. Everybody got what we need on this one?
Yep.
All right, I'm going to give you the expression. It says negative 6r squared plus 5r. My challenge to you, don't say anything out loud, just talk to your huddle if you want to. My challenge to you is I want you to factor that 2 different ways. Okay, factor that 2 different ways. Now, if that completely blew your mind, you have no idea how there's 2 ways, just get one answer to start with, factor it, and then think about it and see if you can figure out another way to factor it.
No, I did it first way. I did it first way.
Alright, Aaron, can you tell me a GCF I can take out? Alright, I like it. If I take an R out of both of those, negative 6R squared divided by R would be negative 6R. 5R divided by R will be 5. There's one answer. I like it. Chase, what else could I have taken out?
One.
Yeah, that doesn't change it though. Do I have anything that would change it? Anybody got a thought?
Negative.
Negative R. Very good. Take a negative R out. Negative divided by a negative makes that a positive. Positive divided by a negative makes that a negative. These are the same. Both correct. Okay, so that's always an option, and the reason we have to look at that is because when we factor by grouping, we have to make stuff work for us. And so maybe when it doesn't work with a positive R, it'll work with a negative R. You'll know what I'm talking about when we get into that, but that's always an option. Okay, factoring by grouping. Everybody got what we need here? I've got xy minus 2y minus 4x plus 8. Directions say to factor. Now, we started off with binomials and went to trinomials. Now, all of a sudden, we got 4 terms. So, rule is still the same. You have to check and see if there's a GCF. So, do all 4 of those have something in common other than 1?
No.
No, they don't. Very good. So, I can't do that. Now, since there's 4 terms, you can split it into 2 groups of 2. Okay, factoring by grouping, we're going to make a group with the first 2 terms and a group with the last 2 terms. 2 by 2, just like we're going in the arc. So now on that first group, look at our first parentheses. Does that first group have a GCF just in it?
Y.
Y, very good, Chase. If I take a Y out, that leaves me with x minus 2. Now, for this whole factoring by grouping show to work, whatever I take out of the second group has to also leave me with an x minus 2. So look at this, decide what would work for me to get a positive x and a negative 2. Negative 4, very good. Negative 4x divided by negative 4 is a positive x. 8 divided by negative 4 is a negative 2. Now this is like that big problem with the a's that we had a second ago. Both sides of this minus sign have something in common. So, no, well, I'm not going to have any. Because if I take that x minus 2 out, that leaves me with a y and a minus 4. That's it. Remember doing that in Algebra 2? Did a little bit. Still going to factor by grouping here, so there you got a little bit of a hint. I've got 10x squared, y squared minus 18 plus 15y squared minus 12x squared. Now, I did this to you on purpose. This is the most difficult type of factor that there is out of today's lesson. All right. Do we have a GCF other than one?
No. Yes.
What?
Y squared?
This one doesn't have a Y.
Oh, dang it.
No.
Hearing some no's. We jumping on the board in the no train? They're all even except 15, so 2 won't go into all of them. They all don't have the same variable because 18 doesn't have a variable, so I'm with the no people. No, there's no GCF. Okay, we got 4 terms. So in the last problem, we just threw some parentheses and made some groups. Oh, I messed that up. I put a 1 and a 3. We can't go on the arc with a 1 and a 3, can we?
I don't think that'll,
Huh?
be very happy about
Wait,
that.
what are you saying?
I meant to group them 2 by 2, and I did a 1 by 3. Group's got to be even. That's a 2. That's ugly. All right. First group. Now that I finally got 2s up there, what's the GCF of the first group?
2.
Just 2. I'm with you. So that leaves me with 5x squared y squared minus 9. Now remember, for this whole show to work, I have to be able to get the same parentheses out of that group. So what can I take out of here that will leave me with that? But about them by 3, that's going to leave that as a 4. I need a 9.
Dang it.
Okay? There's nothing, right? I can't take anything out of here and get this same factor. So, what that means for us, we are going to have to look back at our original problem, and we're going to have to try to reorder some stuff to make it work for us. So, like, I could switch the order of some of these. So, how do you want to try to switch them? Anybody got a good guess, a good idea? What do you want to like try to switch the 10 and the 15? I'm just throwing stuff.
Put the 10 and 15 together.
Yeah, do that. Yeah, do that.
Okay, so
I
you're
would
flipping
suggest
these.
putting them together.
Okay, so we're going to flip these right here is what Mason wants to try. So we got a plus 15y squared right here and a minus 18 right there. Okay? All right, now in this group, what's the GCF? 5y squared. Leaves me with 2x squared, that went out, plus 3. Okay? Zane's feeling confident. What's the GCF of this?
3.
You're gonna want it like
No,
Negative.
it's not.
6.
Negative.
Negative 6. 18, negative 18 divided by negative 6 is a positive 3. Well, that's not what I got there, but it is what I got here.
Yeah.
So it could be good. Negative 12x squared divided by negative 6 is a positive 2x squared.
Yeah.
So are those the same?
Yep.
Yep. So we got 2x squared plus 3,
Good job, class.
No, that first.
5y squared
You think you're talking to the class?
minus 6. What were you going to say, Chase?
He wasn't going to say nothing.
I don't believe it.
You don't believe it.
Nope.
Foil it.
He stuck over there real quick.
Pull it.
Yep. If you foil this, it'll be
It
this.
won't be.
That's how you can check it. Okay? We good? Alright, fix to give you a few to do on your own right quick. Start you back off with the easy ones, the binomial, and work our way back up. Number 1 says 12m minus 60.
Said nothing.
Number 2 says 15a squared c cubed minus 25ac squared plus 5ac. And then the last one will be our grouping one.
We keep looking at you.
mx plus qx plus my plus qy. Okay, number 1 and 2 there are just GCF. Number 3, excuse me, the last one is the grouping one. Okay, get the answers to those 3. Should work turning in the machine.
See, that first one.
This is his. That is socks. It makes no sense. And he just said back is socks. Right.
The line went through.
You understand that? Back is socks. Socks is back. Back is socks. I'm just kidding.
Today.
Everybody got them?
No.
Always go.
Put a quick color on you, Jason. Mason colored on my arm with Sharpie.
Mason?
I don't even have a Sharpie. I don't know what he's talking about.
I don't either. I don't know what he's talking about. Check my phone. Okay.
All right. Aaron, what's the GCF numero uno?
12.
12. If we take a 12 out, what's left inside our parentheses?
And -5.
M minus 5. Any problems or questions on that one?
No.
All right, GCF on the second one. Caitlin, what is it?
5AC.
5AC. So that should leave me with, I didn't save enough room here, 3AC squared minus 5C plus 1.
Yeah.
Good? Even though I wrote it in multiple tiers there. Alright, I hinted to you about the grouping on the last one. Did it work like it was, or did you need to reorder it?
As it was.
It worked good. So let's look at that, dude.
Works pretty good.
First group, what's the GCF?
X.
X. Kaylee leaves us with an M plus a Q. What about the second one?
Why?
Y leaves us with an M plus a Q. So we have M plus Q times X plus Y. Does it matter what order those go in?
Yeah, no.
No, I could write the X plus Y first if I wanted. Like Mason said, you can put those binomials in either order. Okay? Everybody good on that? Questions, comments, concerns? Great. All right, there is a spot in your classroom for you to answer this.
Oh, it needs some glasses.
There's a spot in your classroom. Put the answer to that. All I need is it factored.